Welcome. In this episode, we're going to talk about a leaked Google document saying, hey, we have no moat and neither does AI. Is the secret out? We're going to take a look at it. Then we'll take a look at MIT just releases one of their newest lectures, CS50, on what are students actually building with GTP4, plus how you can start building apps at home today. And lastly, we'll be looking at how AI can save businesses the most money. Because in this episode, we want to show actual business cases of how are people using AI in their business to level up and gain way more productivity outcomes. All of that and more in this episode of the Jonathan Acuna podcast, where an ultimate podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs, business owners, and professionals seeking to learn one actionable insight that elevates their business and life. I'm not gonna lie, that took like 14 tries to get that opening done, but we're in. Let's take a look at my screen and let's get started with our quote of the day. I love these quotes. Always gotta start with a good quote. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow know what you truly want to become. Steve Jobs. Heck yeah, I've always wanted to start my own media channel and broadcasting. So here we are. Let's take a look at the first episode. Okay, the whole point of really this show is not to like read the news and show you like, hey, here's the news of the week. The goal of the show is two parts. One, we're looking at these, I see these as like data points plotted in a chart, and we're gonna start looking at trends over time. What do these articles mean in the impact for employees, for business owners, for managers, for owners, and for students? How are this both technology going to impact your life and how you could take advantage of it? So we're really looking at the trends in the show on a much high level. You guys are adults, you could go read the news and on your own time, but that's the goal of the show that I want to show. So if you see me like skimming around and stuff like that, I'm not here to like read the news. So with that, this is a trend that I'm starting to see. And it goes with the leaked document that comes out where basically, look, you can start running these large language models on basically consumer hardware. And that's the pivotal shift right now that I'm looking at, is that you can now get access to these large language models like ChatGPT-4 and comparables in your own offline local mode, meaning you could have it offline on your local computer, so you could ask ChatGPT anything you want. But first you're like, John, why would I need to do that? I have ChatGPT-4 on Microsoft. I could just log in and I can use it. And you know what? I even have Bing, which is free. So why would I even want to download my own AI model? Yo, the fact that these things can run on consumer hardware is phenomenal. But that leads me to a comment that I always look for comments, because like they beautifully like put in the words of what the trend is feeling. And not everyone wants a filtered, politically biased model or chatbot, which is basically what ChatGPT is. I remember the first early days of ChatGPT. Oh man, you could get away with some gnarly stuff. Now it's like, to say it's neutered would be a whole nother thing. So this comment on this one video said it the best. Look, this is a video from like how to build your own AI. It's basically how to build your own ChatGPT at home on your own computer. It's now affordable. The options are there. That's pretty much the main takeaway. But this guy says it so good. He says, I'm looking for, and you're like, why? And it says, just like this guy says, I'm looking for an honest, accurate AI with no political leanings, no childish railguards. I don't need it to protect my mind. I'll be in charge of that. And that is the interesting thing for me, is like, and I started to think of like business use cases. And like, one is if you're a professional and you write, let's say, not safe for work books, let's say, for example. If you're a not safe for work author, it's going to be very difficult to collaborate with these AI models like ChatGPT to get really visceral, different responses that like really unwhole. Like, let's remove the child guards and let's really create without boundaries kind of thing. I'm going to caveat this with something crazier, but that is going to segue into the the leaked article that Google was like, oh no. And they're basically, look, this starts off, we have no moat, and neither does OpenAI. And basically, large language models now run on your phone. Something as small as a Pixel 6. Say, for example, even with this article, you could run a large language model on your Raspberry Pi. So the concept I want to throw this, we're seeing a repeat in history. Remember when Arduino first came out? I don't know, many people know what Arduino is, but Arduino is basically a small development board that was an easy way for people that are students and not computer science majors to get into software development, learn how to code, and then also circuit design, electronics, actually building circuits and robotics. That is so it splits off into two learning paths. This platform is been phenomenally to create think of like the maker movement and stuff like that. Right now, the people who are taking the most advantage of all these cool large language models and stuff like that are developers. So the point of what I'm trying to share here is that right now it's like a gold mine. Learning software development is probably the best valuable skill that you could learn right now to give you not just job security for the next 5-10 years, but actually because we're entering a new industrial revolution, the information age, or even a little bit more, where basically the next level of how iteration evolves is going to be faster because it's done on software. The iterative process that you could do in software and the gains in productivity and efficiencies is far surpasses than any actual so basically it's going to be a new digital gold rush that people who know how to code or know how to develop are going to get first access to this, and that blows my mind as far as because basically for a weekend project, download and run open source. So basically here's the whole thing, because the main trend is open source will trump closed source in the future, in the digital economy, in the cyber world. I'm using new terms because we don't even know what's ahead on the horizon for what this whole new digital economy is basically going to end up. So basically, because open source iterates so fast and so quickly, faster than private models, then you get something like this, Acuna. And it piqued my interest because my last name's Acuna. Hakuna Matata means no worries. So of course I was interested in it. This is a downloadable model that you could download that was trained for the cost of $300. And it's about 90% as good as ChatGPT. There's benefits to having these models as far as completely unfiltered, completely local, completely, then you can start tailoring it, then you can start integrating it, then you can start building your own apps, then you can start building really cool stuff going forward with it. That's where it's basically now the way to look at it as, imagine the App Store. You know, the App Store, we go to the Apple had the App Store, Samsung had the App Store, Salesforce also has their App Store and stuff like that. Basically, there's right now a open source App Store. Think of it and they're all from Hugging Face too. I think I could do Vicuña. Yeah, Vicuña on Hugging Face. So Hugging Face is where you could download all these models, and then start running them locally, or you can even spin up an AWS server. I'm speaking a little bit out of my expertise, but spin up an AWS server, and you could run, I guess, a Colab notebook, or maybe a Colab notebook that could run these, and basically, so you don't need the hardware. Basically, there's no excuses to play with these models, even if you don't have the hardware, that's where I'm trying to, it's man, this is where it's at, where you're going to be downloading and using your own personal AIs, tailoring them to you and what you do in your life. And they're going to be everywhere in your life. The fact that we can shrink these down and put these in Raspberry Pis, now it's not running fully, it's not the whole thing, but it's just, this is the trend that I'm seeing, that now open source models are becoming way more competitive than commercial use ones, or private ones. And so right now, because look, okay, we have a small window of time, us and humanity, because the joke running punchline is all of this, every action that we do going forward, we're basically training our AI replacement. We're just kind of hanging out and having fun until AGI really shows up. So until AGI really comes up and just game over. So you have to start getting ahead of the ball, and this is how you could be proactive as far as you could do Coursera to start learning some computer science, and then you can even do Udemy courses and stuff like that. Download these models, but it's actually really easy to download and install and use. That's what I'm more fascinated with, is the barrier to entry has come so low to open these so fast. We're in May. I mean, as you watch my episodes, I'm not trying to do it so frequently, but yeah, we're moving so fast because it's software. Software is this is the new information. No, I don't want to say information age, but like this is the new gold rush as far as like everything is these models, and learning to play with these models is going to be very, very valuable to your job, career, life, and future. But yeah, that's going to segue into MIT CS50. Great open lectures. Oh my God, these things are so much. I hang out on mostly just like lectures and books and back and forth. I don't consume TikTok. I don't consume Instagram Reels. That to me is just pure cancer. Like, so sticking in long form content, Common ChatGPT. This is a great episode. Highly recommend watching it, because how about right here is where they're actually going to show use cases of how students, these are, we'll call these the flavors of ChatGPT apps or AI apps, because they're like integrating them with ChatGPT and what you could do, but now that you're seeing what's possible with just open source large language models, plus if you're a software developer, get in on the open source large language model train and help innovate. We need innovators in three main industries: nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, and blockchain. Those are the three game-changing technologies that's going to happen in the future. And if you're not involved in those three industries or technologies, industry is going to go away. Can't help you there. So looking at this is meant to inspire use cases of building companionship apps. Companionship apps is like, hey, I need a life coach. Hey, I need a dating coach. Hey, I need even like a fitness coach, or a person, yeah, fitness coach, a nutrition coach. So you could summon these personas as different companionships to help you coach yourself, elevate, learn something new. Tutors are another great example. You've always seen question example. This is basically what ChatGPT is, or the UI prompt of what ChatGPT is. And that's basically you ask a question, it gives you an answer. But the next level is what's called local knowledge, or basically, let's say it's a law firm and they have a couple documents, 10 documents that they're coming up for a court case. So basically they have what's called local knowledge. And so with the new workflow is like, you would take this local knowledge, integrate it with ChatGPT through these pipelines, or you could use, now there's web apps that you could upload and then query. And so now ChatGPT has both is ChatGPT, then it knows your local knowledge of what's in the PDF, then it becomes an oracle that you could question to get a quicker response rather than reading the whole source material. So that's a whole utility feature that I see there that's really crazy. We all know we're all using it for creativity, come up with new ideas about X. We're all doing that. But this is amazing, because when I first learned Python and I saw what was possible in like a couple lines of code for Python to automate what would take me hours and days in work, blew my mind. That same phenomenon happened here when the guy demoed, and he's like, yeah, in about 4 lines of code, you now created this person expert that you can now query and is now going to be your personal coach to help you achieve whatever goal. What? That's wild. That is just wild to me. So let's go into the next one, where basically we're going to look at industries and how AI can save businesses most money, because we want to start, because you're going to start integrating it depending on your industry. We're going to see at different industries, both from healthcare to logistics to like, how are they using it, where are they using it, where are they getting the benefits. So this is a main high level to show basically, if you're not integrating it's not ChatGPT, but basically if you don't have like an AI strategy, like literally it's almost like having a marketing strategy and how important that is for your business. It's the same as having an AI strategy for your business. If you guys don't have an AI business for AI strategy for your business, whether you're small, medium, or enterprise, this affects everyone. Then let's read about how you're going to be replaced then. And so basically they're like, what are the benefits? Look, it's going to increase your revenue, hands down. It's also going to decrease costs. Those are the main 2 things. And especially in today's like economy where everything's inflation, you want to do everything. AI is a deflationary technology, which is super great and scary and good and bad, because it deflates the cost to produce, in a sense. So what would take one worker can now, or it would take 10 workers can now take 1 worker, for example. Like pretty much you should fire all your copywriters and maybe have 1 copywriting manager oversee it. But if that, like copywriting would be one cost to a business that every business is going to incur if they do marketing online. And now that cost just got dramatically cut because copywriting is probably the easiest use case as a business that they first should be using it, I would imagine. Second in automation and stuff like that. So looking at this, we can see service operations, this gets impacted, manufacturing. And this gets changed, evolved. How you used to do supply chain management without AI would be the old way. Now everyone's doing it in some way or form with AI, and I'll show you an example with that. So let's actually take a look at in manufacturing. It's going to actually help increase your productivity. Up to 70% of the projected cost reduction would result from higher workforce productivity. And then when they interviewed more than 1,000 industrial executive and managers who expressed enthusiasm, they said, yo, we need it in engineering, which is like, there's physical engineering and then also software engineering. You can also look at Copilot. If your software developers aren't using Copilot, please fire them because they should be using Copilot to design apps now going forward, kind of thing. It's crazy. Production, maintenance, it's wild. Healthcare is going to get huge because if we look at how much data and like that doctors and nurses like have to consume, there's too much data and they're overwhelmed. And so AI, a great use is to come in and help analyze, identify trends, identify anomalies, alerts, and then have that still get supervised and get everything should get quality checked off by like what's called a senior expert in that field. But man, that's crazy. And this is going to save billions of dollars at a time where companies in every industry need to save money a lot. Supply chain and logistics. This is why, because we're going to take a look at even Walmart. This is where Walmart is using AI to change how they do supply chain logistics, specifically in the field of negotiation for supply deals. Basically, they have this software called Pactum AI to automatically negotiate some supply deals. Basically, 3 out of 4 suppliers prefer haggling with the AI over human, and they make it it's almost like Google. I think of it like Google bidding, like how Google does their ad, and it's a bidding basically. And so basically, Paxton system just asks Walmart to set its budget and requirements, such as what do you want for discounts? What do you want for your payments terms? And then it goes through all the index of the supplier's demands, trends, commodity values, their costs, analyzes all of that, and then it will strike a deal in a matter of days. Something in days that would rather take weeks or months of talk. So if in your business you have a process or workflow that takes days or weeks and months to complete, I would say that is an opportunity that's ripe for not just AI, but for automation. You don't have to go all to AI and like AI is the answer. You can get a lot done just by improving your technology, improving your processes, upskilling your employees. Just those 3 things alone are what I call the 3 levers of success for a business. Improve your skill force, upskill them so that they're the best that they could be. Have an education department where they're literally looking out for training. Ideally, we do business training, but they're looking for training so that, hey, make our employees the dangerous that they could be. So they're ruthlessly productive and effective at their work. You would hire a consultancy to train and upskill them because if they're not productive now, they're not going to be productive in the future, kind of thing. And you need time because your competitor just downloaded or bought an AI that now in that process, you know how much money that would save Walmart? Oh my gosh, that's the crazy thing. That is just the crazy thing. But let's end out with a book recommendation to kind of figure out, wow, again, the world is changing so fast. I'm having trouble even keeping up with it. This episode of the show is really helping me keep up and really like helping me analyze the trends. And I highly recommend this book, The Sovereign Individual. I'm about halfway through. It's a great history lesson, and it's really blowing my mind as far as the mental model of what the world is going to be in the new cyber economy, I guess you would put it. So that I'm very excited for that. So that is a huge book that's coming down the line. But I think that is it. Oh yeah. And then lastly, our sponsors, because we have to pay our bills somehow. But this episode is sponsored by me and my club, Global Builders Club. We do professional coaching and training and technology for businesses to help them stay competitive in the world. So if you'd like to stay up to date with what's going on, we have a weekly newsletter called Tech Club, where you can get smarter in 5 minutes. So I'm Jonathan Acuna. It's been so much fun spending time with you. World's changing. I'm excited. We've got this new episode format. We're going to be doing 3 a week Tuesdays. Wednesdays and Tuesday, Wednesday, Fridays, I think is the episode that's going to come out. So you can catch us on the podcast episode. Subscribe, share a friend, and I hope you learned something new. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for stopping by.